In this video, we will continue on the development of the game Yellow Snow in the Lua language using the Love2D game library. So if you're just starting out with this video, you'll want to go to github.com programming rainbow. And this repository will be called Yellow Snow Lua Love2D. Take that URL, you will want to use git clone to clone it, move inside the directory, and it will look like this. This is the 5th video, so we will continue on with the code that we ended off with in the 4th video. If you did just clone this, you'll want to open up a terminal if you're inside of the directory, and you'll want to remove all the .lua files in the top level directory. That will be these files right here. After you remove those, you'll want to copy all the files from video 4 that are called Lua into the top level directory. Okay, and so you'll have all these files that are in here will be in the top level. So let me just cover what we ended off with last time. So we've created a game window with a title, and it's got a width and height. We've loaded a background image. We've created a player that we can move left and right. We have created flakes that fall down, and when impacting with the white flakes, we get an increase in score, and if we ever impact with the yellow flake, the game stops running. And then we can press space bar to restart the game. So let's just show what we're seeing here. So we got the flakes falling. Anytime I hit the white flake, I'm getting score increase. And if I hit the yellow flake, the whole game stops. I can press space to reset the game. Now, if I press space any other time while the game is playing, nothing happens. And since I hit a yellow flake right down here at the bottom, the game has stopped. And I can press escape to close. So in this video, we will be adding sound effects, we will be adding music, and we'll also add the ability to pause the music if you don't want to listen to the music playing while you're playing the game. The sound effects will still play, but the music itself will be paused. So the files for the music, there's just one file, it's a winter loop. And for the sound effects, we have a hit and a collect. So the collect will be for the white flake and the hit will be for the yellow flake. So I'm going to go and show you where I'm getting this from in the Love2D. So if we're in Love2D, we need to be in the audio. So we're over here in Love Audio, and we're looking for new source. So if we open up new source right here, get this page here, and there's two different types of sources. There's a static, it's up here at the top. Yeah. So we're using the Love Audio new source, and we have the file name and a type. And then we're saving it in some variable name here. So the file name will be whatever the file that we're going to load, and the type here will be one of two types. It can either be static or streaming. So down here we have streaming or static. So streaming will be for music. When we want music to play, that is going to be streaming type, or it's playing a longer file. And for the just short sound effects, that will be static type. So we do have two sound effects we'll load. They'll both be static, and we have one music loop that will be a streaming one. So I'm just going to use this right here. And this is going to be in the game module. And where we're loading all our resources, I'm putting it right below the image loading. Okay, I'm just going to paste in that. We could do the sound effects first. So we can do the collect and the hit. So what I'm going to do is this is going to be part of the game table. So I'm going to do the self, and I'm going to call the collect one collect, self.collect. Okay, so I have this method call to load in the new source, and we need to give the relative path to this collect file. So it is in sounds, and it's called collect.og. Now this is going to be the static type because this is a sound effect. And this is we put this in as a string. So that's exactly what loading a sound effects will look like. So I'm just going to copy this because I have two. The next sound effect is called hit. Now for the third one, it is the music. So it's going to look very much like this, and we'll just call it music since we only have one music file. So, but instead of static, it's going to be stream. Music, and this one is not in sounds, it's in the music directory. So we have music, and then we have winter, loop, and not static, but stream. Okay, that loads our 3 sound effects. Don't want to do the music just yet because I want to be able to mute it and everything else. Let's just try a couple of these sound effects. So the place that I want to play the sound effect is just in the collision method. So we're checking the collision method right here. This is a good place for us to play one sound effect or the other. So let's go back to the website. We have this source here. So what we really need to do is find all the methods that we can use for source. Right here, I'm just going to click the source link up here. This will give us all the methods for source. So like the collect, the hit, the music, that will be our source. Just like image or texture is for our image that we loaded. So we're looking for play. So here's source play, and that will work. But we're going to end up with a problem here. If we try to play a sound effect and then we play it again, say I'm playing the collect sound effect because I just got a white snowflake. So what happens again if there's another white snowflake right behind it, before this sound effect finish playing, if I get another white flake, it can't play again because there's only one of the sound effects for it to play. So what we can do is we can use clone up here. Not get clone, sorry. Right here, clone. So this clones something, but we can actually stack them. So we can say source : clone, and then we can say : play. So it's going to clone it and then play it. So every time we play a sound effect, it'll actually be a clone of the original one. So we can play it as many times as we want to play it consecutively. So I'm going to be stacking the clone and the play method. So if it's white, we're resetting the flake. So the first thing we can do is we can just call the collect clone play. Now we're using a colon and clone, and then we're using a colon again, and we'll do play. And we can use the exact same one for the hit down here. This will be for the yellow flake, so it's kind of a bad hit sound. This one doesn't matter. I don't need to really clone it because we're only going to have the hits on one time, but I'm just going to follow the convention, what I did up above. So this should give us sound effects for these two. So let's just see if this is working now. That's perfect. I'm hearing it delayed because I'm monitoring the stream. So yeah, it's delayed sound for me. Okay, so we have the 2 sound effects that we want working. And again, this clone is so we can use the sound effect over and over again. And the play method, so it's cloning it first, then playing that clone. And then the clone's going to be popped off the stack when it goes out of scope anyway. Or the heap, or however it's done, it's going to be garbage collected for us. So the music, we want to set it to loop because it's a streaming type, and then we want to play. So for music, we have a setLooping. Go back to the source and here's setLooping. I believe it gives us an example. So here's loading the source, and then we've called it music, and then we're setting the looping to true, and then we're setting it play to play. Okay, so we're going to do this exact same thing, and I'm just going to put it towards the bottom of the loading method for game. I'm just going to copy this. This looks good enough to me to use. So here is the game load method. All the way down here at the bottom, when this method is finished, I'm going to tell it to start playing the song, the music. Okay, so our music is going to be self.music because it's in the music is being stored inside of the game table. And that should be correct. So this should start the music playing automatically. But I actually want the music to stop playing when the yellow snow has been hit. So this is simple. It's just a stop method called on the source. So if we go to source and we look for, there should be a stop. There it is. Source stop. So that's what we're going to use to stop playing the music. And when we reset the game, we're going to tell the music to play again, just like we did before. So we're playing it here. And on the reset, we're going to tell it to play again. Oops. So down on the collision, I actually want it to stop playing the music. Okay, so we're just going to tell the music to stop. We're going to play the bad hit sound effect, and we're going to change the is playing mode to false. So the music should play, and then when I hit a yellow, it should stop playing, and then when I hit reset, it should start playing again. That seems to be working perfectly. So I want to add one more thing. I want to be able to pause the music. Maybe you like to play the game and you don't want the music to be playing. You're still going to get the sound effects, because if you didn't want to hear anything, you could just turn your speaker down. But if you want to hear the sound effects, but you don't want to listen to the background music, you can just pause the music. So I'm going to create a method that is going to pause the music. And we have to think about this a little bit, because we want the music to pause. That means we want to be able to resume it. But we don't want it to, if we've told it to pause, then we reset the game. We don't want the music to start playing again. We want the music to still be not playing because we've told it to pause. But even if the music is not playing, say it's in the game over state, and we unpause the music, it doesn't need to start playing then. It needs to actually start playing when the game goes back into its, when it gets reset. So basically we need to check if it's playing, and we need to be able to handle, we need another Boolean value, is the music paused? So I'm going to, up here at the top of the table, in the game table itself, I'm going to create another Boolean, and I'm going to call this one music paused. Not is paused, music paused, because that makes more sense, because it's game is playing, and this one the game music paused. I'm going to say equals false, so the music will not be paused. Okay, and I need to make a method now. I'm going to put it below the check collision method. this will be a method that just pauses the music. The first thing we're going to do, since this is a toggle, we're going to check to see if it's already paused. So I'll say if self So this is a method on the music itself. So let me show this here. So I'm actually checking if the music is paused. So it's right here, is paused. And it's just returning this pause right here. This is just returning a Boolean. We don't need to store it in a variable. This is just a Boolean, whether the music is paused or not paused. This is part of Love2D. So if the music is paused, we want to unpause it. So we would say music paused false. If I'm unpausing the music, I want to check if the game is playing. So this is already setting this Boolean that we will use later in the game reset to see if we need to start playing this music again. But this is also just checking right now. If it was paused, the music was paused and we want to start playing it, is it actually in the game mode? If it's not if it's in the game over state, we do not want the music to play. So we're going to check to see if it's playing. So if it is playing, we're going to go ahead and play the music. So we'll do self music play. Now the else on this one. So if it was paused, we're unpausing it. But the else on this is if it's not paused, then we want to pause it. So we'll say music paused to true. And we'll just tell the music to pause. And that's another method that's on that page. Okay, so this should toggle it back and forth, but we still have the problem with the game reset. So on the game reset, I actually want to check that is paused Boolean to see if I need to start playing the music again. So on the reset, right here where I start playing the music again, music paused. So if it's not paused, so I'm going to say if not, then so if my Boolean has not set to the music's paused, if it's set to false that the music should not be paused, then I want to restart the game again. And I'm going to pause the music right away, and I'm going to let it cycle through, and then I'm going to try different ways to make sure it works. So if I restart it with it paused, the music should not come back on. And then I'm going to end it again, and I'm going to unpause it in the game over state and reset the game and see if the music starts playing again. And then I'll try to pause and unpause it in the normal game state. So I'm going to try a couple things and see if it's doing everything that I expect that it should be doing. So right away, I'm going to just pause it. Oh, you know what? Before we even do this, I did not connect up this whole button to pause the music. So this needs to be in main. I'm going to use the M key for mute. So if it equals M, then, and I'm just going to say game pause music. We're already doing all the checking when it should be paused and unpaused in the game module. So this one is just connecting up the M key to running that pause music method. I'm trying to set the key value instead of equal. Yes, I understand. There we go. Okay, again, I'm going to attempt to pause it right away and then try a couple different things. And that did not work. Attempting to call method is paused. Oh, it's not is paused. Pause music. Maybe we didn't set this up in the game module. I didn't set up the... Oh, I think I know what I did. Let me close this down here. So in game, I believe I used... which should be isPlaying. Let me just check that again. See if it's this one or something else. Okay, this is game 83. So it is here. It doesn't like this right here. Oh, it's not is paused, it's is playing. Hold on. Returns weather source, available love, and removed. Oh, so this was removed, and I should be looking for is playing, not is paused. That's why it was reversed in my code. I couldn't figure out why my code was reversed, and it's because I'm not looking if it's paused. I'm looking for if it's playing. Okay, I was looking at that for a long time, trying to figure out why it was backwards, and it was never backwards because I was just thinking about it from the wrong angle. So this should be is playing, and that means that this code is backwards. So I'm just gonna remove this here. I was looking at it over and over again, thinking, why is it backwards? Because in my head, this is playing was saying is paused. I was looking at it and I was seeing the wrong code. Okay, so let's hope that that was the entire issue. Okay, it's doing everything that I want to do, but one thing that it is not doing is if I tell it to pause the music when the game is in the game over state, and then I press the space, it's not paused. So instead of checking this, this right here, instead I'm going to use this Boolean here. And I think that's going to sort it out. So I'm checking if the music's playing, and when it's in the game over state, it's not playing. But my Boolean is there no matter what. So I think I'm going to use my Boolean instead. So is playing, I have to flip this code around again, the other way. So I'm going to flip it one more time. Hopefully it'll be the last time. It should be here. And I'm going to change this right here, is playing, to my actual Boolean, my internal Boolean. So this is going to be self is paused. So if it's paused, I'm going to unpause it. If it wasn't paused, I'm going to pause it. So this should fix the problem. Okay, I tried a bunch of different combinations. I tried to pause it and unpause it while the game was playing. I tried to pause the music while the game was in the game over state and then reset it to see if the music would still be paused. I tried to unpause the music when it was in the game over state to see if the music would start playing again. Every combination I tried worked, so I believe this is correct now. I should have just been using my Boolean from the start. This method should allow you to pause and unpause the music, so if you want to play it without the music, you can. Okay, I think I'm just going to cover what we've already done now. So when you're loading music files, you want to use the love.audio.newSource, and you need the relative or the exact path to the file that you're loading. And then for a sound effect, it's going to be static. And for a longer, something that's going to be music that's played continuously, you're going to want stream. So those are two different styles of, one's a sound effect and one's music. So with the music, you can only have one of the music playing as far as I know, but the sound effects, you could do multiples on top of each other. So with the music, since I want it looped, I have to use this setLooping method to true. And then I'm just playing the music. When it's in the game over state, because of here, I'm just stopping the music. And for the sound effects, I'm cloning those sound effects and playing them. That means I can play them over and over again without the sound effect ending, and it'll still work. So I have a sound effect for collecting the white, and if I hit the yellow snow. And we are stopping the music whenever we go into the game over state. And this is what we've been working on to toggle the music on and off. So it's basically using my Boolean. If it's paused, it's unpausing the Boolean. And if it's unpaused, it's pausing the Boolean. And it's doing the music the same. If it's pausing it, it's pausing the music. If it's unpausing, it's telling the music to play. But there is a check right here to say, are we in the game playing state as well before we unpause the music? And then in the reset, we also have another check. We have a check to see, should the music be paused? If it's not paused, we can play the music. So with all that, and we did add another key here. So we've added the M key, and is calling the game method the pause music that we just looked at. So that is always available to us. And the toggling is happening whether it's in the playing state or the game over state. But the music never plays in the game over state, but we can still toggle it. Okay, so that's going to wrap up this series. This is just a simple game. It lets you do everything. It lets you have a character. It lets you move it. We're flipping the sprites. We're doing some simple collision detection. We are playing music that we can pause and unpause. We have sound effects. We have a game over state and a playing state. We also have a score. Just everything is just the ultra simple version. So if you just want to make a starter game to get going, this is an easy one to start with, and then you can experiment and add on more to it. So I think that's going to be it for Donate the Yellow Snow for Lua and Love2D. There is also a variant of this same series that I did a couple months ago in the C language, and I will be doing this in other languages, this kind of same simple game. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that. I hope maybe you learned something or were entertained, and have a nice day. Bye.